Hello everyone, this is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you your reading for love for the week of July 8th through July 15th for my Aries gang. So if you are an Aries sun, moon, rising, or Venus, have Aries in your Venus placements as well, this is your reading. So I am using the Light Seers Tarot. This is one of my favorite decks right now just because the artwork on it is just absolutely stunning. And so as I step into your energy here for this week, Aries, I'm really feeling as though this is a week where you could be feeling like your feelings are on again, off again, where they're kind of coming and going, right? They're very transient when it comes to your love interest, if you have somebody in mind. And I feel like it's like an up and down thing, right? You could have like really high highs with this person and then really low lows with this person. It's almost like a roller coaster, right? And I really feel with this Ace of Swords here for you, you're really getting in your head about things. You're really just wanting to know what is happening, okay? I do feel, I hear the lyrics for a White Snake song, like, is this love that I'm feeling? Is this the love that I've been searching for? That's the lyrics that are kind of coming in with this. And so you could be getting in your head kind of wondering what this other person is feeling. And we're going to kind of try to get to that here in this reading. So hopefully this helps you. I do feel like overall, looking at your cards here, Aries, you have the Three of Pentacles. You're wanting to build something, right? And you're really maybe even putting this person a little bit up on a pedestal, really valuing them, wondering if this is something that you're worthy of, right? And really understanding that, gosh, there's so many options out there. Am I making the right choice? Because all you really want is your ultimate happiness, your ultimate joy, your ultimate fulfillment, right? And so, what really is coming in with this is, yeah, you want something stable, right? So you have to kind of look at the building blocks of what's happening. Are you building something stable? What do you want to build? What does this other person want to build? What are your long-term goals? How do they align? And what is it that you both are working toward? Because you really need to be ultimately working toward the same things or some, similarities, right? If there's some things that you can compromise, great. But ultimately, you do have to have the same end goal, and that is if you're both looking for a long-term, stable relationship. I think that's what you're really having in mind, right? And also, I think the key to this all too is kind of like knowing what your happiness looks like. What does being happy within a relationship look like for you? Will it look like a typical traditional role for you? Will you both be working? Will you be living in the same residence? Are you going to, like looking at all of those things and kind of allowing that all to kind of coincide? But the building blocks of that all, you have to have trust, right? Look at your values. Do you trust one another? Is there trust there? Things like that. Is there great communication? Do you both listen to one another? Are you both offering support to one another? I mean, those are the building blocks before you can even look at any of that. So if you're having issues at that very core of that foundation, those things are some kinks that are going to need to be worked out before you can move forward to progress with anything further. So I do feel like, Aries, you're really looking for something, when I say stable, like you're searching for your forever. I feel like you're not any longer wanting to do any type of goodbyes. You're tired of the in and outs or half in, half outs, right? Those kind of relationships. And you're really not looking to put your heart in the hands of somebody where in the future that may not be your person. And I understand that completely. So you are looking for that long-term stability. I do feel like you're a bit of a softie inside, and so with that, I would say that sometimes you may have the inkling to not trust your emotions. Like maybe you feel like sometimes your emotions kind of guide you in the wrong direction. Maybe it has in the past, right? It kind of steered you in the wrong direction after you followed your heart, right? And then, that is something that you're kind of like holding yourself back, where you're not completely being open and vulnerable with this person. So that could be something that comes into play. But again, you know, I feel like there's this layer as well that could be kind of coming into play, where maybe you feel as though showing emotions is some sort of a weakness. And that's not true for all Aries, of course. That's just something that's kind of coming up, and I'm feeling like being in line with your aligned with your intuition and following your heart and following those emotions and being able to communicate those emotions, that if that were the case, you'd have to start to work on being more open and communicating your emotions in order to be able to have a deep connection with somebody within a relationship, right? I do feel like you're a very adoring person, right? I feel like you have this capacity to just like appear very fierce with that fiery energy, right? And so ultimately, though, you are really like this big teddy bear, and you have this innate ability to, you know, attract people and just love them to pieces and give them the affection that they need, right? You have an ability to show an enormous amount of affection for other people, right? And so, you know, I feel like there is somebody that you are maybe speaking with, perhaps this love interest, that is bringing to your attention some things that they perhaps want you to change, though. Now, or maybe more than one thing, actually. I feel like change is, right? And so they could be asking you to change things. Now, you are willing to hear them out, okay? Because you understand nobody is perfect. And hey, if there's some things that I need to change, or there's some things that we could compromise on to make this work, I'm willing to hear that and to try to see if we can make this work. So you heard them out, but I feel like what they were asking you to do was to be able to try to convey to them that they could trust you, or to convey to them that you honor them and that you make them your priority, right? Now, I feel like you have put a lot of time and energy and effort into doing that, and at the end of the day, I feel like it's starting to be a little bit draining on you. Like, it's beginning to look a little bit more like a them issue than a you issue, right? It's more like they are trying to control things to satisfy their insecurities or their anxieties, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But so you've gone above and beyond to really try to make this person feel secure, right? And it's too much, really, ultimately. But at the end of the day, that is still not dismissing the fact that there's some trepidation, right? Like, you're filled with anxiety. You're kind of worrying, like, is something going to happen now? Like, you're kind of feeling like something could kind of crumble at any time, or like it could all fall apart. All of this work, this time, this energy, this effort that you're putting into this. And then also, ultimately, I think you have a little bit of a fear of maybe looking like a failure after trying to put all your time and energy into this to really try to make this work, because you did put an honest effort into that. So looking at your love interest, we have the Hermit card. So they're really trying to dig deep. They really are trying to take a step back, go within, allow their energy to guide them down the path that they need to really come out on the other side of this, bring their shadows into the light, and really try to make this happen for him or herself, and then also for you, right? And then it brings it into the Devil. So, like, they could be looking at some subconscious things, patterns, right, that have been repeated over and over in relationships, not necessarily just on their part, but as a result of some of their behaviors that happens, you know, the other person kind of falls into a certain dynamic with that. And then they have the Five of Swords. This person really looks like, man, I'm so tired. I just have a headache. I don't know what to do. And then Five of Cups, right? Where Five of Cups is more like, I've got myself out of this mess a little bit, but I'm really just still trying to work through some of the grief of that. I feel with that, this love interest of yours could be feeling a little bit guarded. I feel as though they might sense that your heart's not 100% in it, right? And that you aren't all in, right? That you're starting, maybe you were at one point. That doesn't necessarily mean that you weren't at one point, because you probably were. I feel as though as a result of all of this anxiety and concern about like what is happening now, you know, I feel as though you kind of maybe have taken a step back, and not just, you know, physically taking a step back where you're taking more time for yourself and to work through your own thoughts and emotions, but like, you know, on an emotional level as well, you've kind of pulled back some of that support, right? I feel like this person is kind of dragging this big old bag. It really, how it appeared to me was more like somebody who has like a Santa Claus bag. Usually they throw it over their shoulder, right? But this person was just dragging it on the floor, like this Santa Claus bag full of stuff, right? They're dragging their baggage. Now, this baggage could be their issues. It could be their, you know, heartache from the past relationships that they've had. It could be from childhood stuff where they feel things have happened to them that has caused them some trauma. But they're carrying all of these issues with them. And there's no need to carry all of that stuff. It's heavy, right? And it brings their energy down just a little bit, because it's so tiring to just drag that everywhere, and to help you know, make other people kind of adapt to the fact that they have this heavy bag that they're dragging everywhere. And you know, I feel like this lack of trust and such that they are trying to maybe have you help them work with, it's all stemming from past stuff, right? And so I feel like this person is willing to customize that bag, so to speak, right? I think that they're willing, and maybe they have in the past already tried to start to work on that, where they've opened the bag up, they sat down, and they started to like pick through the bag, kind of like sort through the bag and weed through the bag, like, okay, this is something that I no longer need. I'm going to leave that here at this bus stop, right? And I'm going to take this with me still, right? Because I haven't really worked through that. I still feel yucky about that. And so there's some things that they're kind of working with, and I feel like they are now willing to work through it a little bit more, and or maybe at a deeper level, right? And so they're unpacking the bag, they're working through all of this, they're maybe even opening up to you, talking to you about their trauma from the past, or maybe perhaps just telling you outright where some of these issues come from when it comes to their mistrust. And they really don't want to carry this bag anymore, right? Especially because they don't want to carry this forward with them into new relationships, or even into a relationship with you. So I think until this is all really resolved, this person is only going to be able to maintain a relationship at a superficial level, right? Almost as if the connection is artificial. So what do I mean by that? Superficial, it's like they're not letting you know them at their core, right? They might be opening up and telling you some very deep stuff, things that have happened, you know, from a long time ago, that have really caused them some significant heartache and pain. But at current level status, at current day, they are only keeping it very surface level. They are very anxious, they're scared to allow you to really, you know, be a part of who they are, and sharing that experience with you currently, because they don't want to feel so vulnerable, right? They don't want to leave themselves open to get hurt again. And so, you know, I feel like surface level could look like very easygoing conversations. They're keeping it really light. We're going to talk about things like the weather, right? Like when you go on dates, you could be very much talking about just like funny movies, like, you know, really just chill stuff, okay? And so inside, though, this person is really torn, right? They have this internal conflict happening, right? Spirit used the word convoluted, right? Like their thoughts and their emotions are all jumbled. They're all like, bleh. I don't even know what that was blah. But they are really twisted up, right? And so they have to kind of start to untangle. It's almost like a necklace or a set, like a strand of beads. When they get like tangled, you know, they're really hard to get untangled, right? And so this is what they have to be able to untie. It's almost like untying a knot. And so they have to be able to figure that out. And they need the mental capacity to do so, and they need the emotional capacity to do so. If they are invested in something with you, right, it's going to make it all the more hard to really work through some of that stuff that they have going on inside. So it's not that they don't want that with you, and I think that they can. I think for like the greatest reward of it all, it would be allowing them some time and space to work through all of that. Because it's not that they don't know what they want, it's that they have to get their head and their heart on the same page, right? And so working through some of this internal conflict, I really feel like some of these past issues, there's some regret about. Regret for actions not taken, regret for actions taken, and working through some of that and allowing those emotions to surface to be able to heal them and release them, feeling them to heal them, to release them. It really has an ability, I think, to leave them in a space where they could feel paralyzed from the pain from the past at times, right? And I don't mean like a physical paralyzed, but in a capacity like motionless to, you know, have lacking the capacity to move forward with something with you. Okay, at this point in time, right? That's not to say that won't happen. That is just at this point in time. So overall advice and outcome, I love this so much though, is the Knight of Cups, because this guy comes in super slow and steady, and you know what? Slow and steady wins the race. And they come in with the Ten of Pentacles. And so Ten of Pentacles is like your ultimate fulfillment and experience, right? And you can see that they're all kind of dancing around and they have everything that they need and want. And so, you know, again, I feel like there is like this pause temporarily for right now. And then there's this whole like, you know how like there's a lull in the carnival and it shuts down for the night? And then like the next morning, everything slowly starts up, right? Like the Ferris wheel starts, and then you hear the roller coaster going, right? Like it all starts to light up again, and then you hear kids laughing, right? You hear the kids laughing, and you know, that kind of thing. That all starts to come to life again the next morning. That's where I feel there's this like whole pause, but then begin again. And so there's just going to be a time frame where this person isn't able to be the person that you need, but that doesn't mean that they can't be. And I think that they will be. So there's just a need to kind of take things slow, which is good, because when you do, you know, you build that rock solid foundation. And I feel like when you take it slow, there brings in this whole like emotional maturity, because I feel like right now the Knight of Cups really is there for you, right? But is not at that King of Cups, right? Like not really at the emotional maturity to be able to offer you everything that you need and deserve, right? And so slowly over time, that person will be what you need though, right? With growth, if you're allowing that, and they're doing the work, right? And so I think that the best thing that you can do at this point in time would be to just be there for that person, be generous to them, offer your support, be very supportive to them. And then I think also too is there's a need here for you to be mindful to protect what you have from outside forces and opinions, right? This is not a time to go seek advice from so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and then try to put it all together and then say, hey, so-and-so said we should do this. No. This is a time for you to very much just follow your intuition, allow this to blossom as it should, and as it is going to, right? And so this is very much a process for the two of you to come together at this time, and to be, you know, supportive of one another as you move through this energy. So great read here for you, Aries. I do so hope that this resonates for you in some way, shape, or form. As always, if you're interested in your own personal reading, I'd love to be able to do that for you. You can hit me up at the square site pinned in the description box below here on the YouTube, or if you're catching me on the Facebook on my business page, it's pinned at the top of the page. And as always, I will be back with another read for you guys again soon. Until next time, please be kind to one another, and thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.